What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a long time since I did a review, but I finally got a figure in hand that I felt was worth reviewing. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Collegiate Legends Alabama Crimson Tide football player. This just generic number 18, and this is from Harbinger Studios. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. All right, so my first thoughts about the figure are that this is one of the really cool things to come out of the NIL. And now that college players have things that can be sold based off their likeness, we got NCAA back and all that nice stuff. But I never thought it would come to action figures. But now we have branded Alabama action figures, and this is one of three. There's a darker skin tone number 18, and then there's, I believe his name is Malachi Moore number 13, and it's pretty insane. Now there is no licensing on the figure except for the Alabama A right there in the chest, Bama on the front of the face mask, and I think, well, you got Crimson Tide on the back. But we're going to get into the figure in just a second. Let's talk about the accessories because, oh man, he actually comes with a lot. So, on the figure, I don't think this is one that came with him in packaging. He comes with like a ball grabbing hand for the left and the right side, which you will see in a second. And he comes with a right hand holding the football as well as a left hand holding the football. Once again, you will see that in just a second. I'm blown away by this figure, so I'm excited to talk about it. He comes with two fisted hands, which easily plug in. Can't go wrong with a standard set of fisted hands. There's the other corresponding grabbing hand, as well as the other football hand, so he can easily wrap his hands on it just like that. You know, they got the fingers on the laces. It's pretty cool. Nice little detail. Then he has two opened up hands. I don't know, waving to the crowd. Maybe blocking somebody. Has the hands on another player like that. I don't know. There's many things you could do with this. I'm anxious to see how figure photography goes with this figure because we don't have anything else like this. We were supposed to get it from starting lineup, but the basketball line failed. We'll take a look at that in a second. And I don't think we're ever going to get the NFL ones. And then you have two pointing fingers, which is really cool. Like he's pointing at somebody to throw it to, saying, I'm number one to the crowd, we're number one, whatever it is. He comes with two more things. A loose football, which is really cool if you have any... I just cannot keep anything in my hands. It's been a long time since I did a review. With this, if you ever made any football customs, it's a nice little football to go with it. Instead of having one that's like 3D printed or kind of bootleg or something, you have an actual football. It's really nice. And he also comes with a stand, which is very nice. I would like to see maybe in future releases a way for these to snap together so you can have multiple players, have them on like a... Or maybe even release like a wider base that have like where you can stand 3 or 4 players up. I think that'd be kind of cool. But it is cool, the nice textured turf. It looks really good. And he plugs in there. I didn't plug him in there, but he plugs in there fairly easy. And it looks pretty much like that standing on there. I think that's very nice. And on the bottom you see where it says Harbinger Studios. Amazing work from those guys, honestly. It's the first figure I've bought from them, and I'm very impressed enough to bring back the YouTube channel. So, the articulation is about what you would expect from a 1/12 figure. Now, as far as the figure itself, the head is not interchangeable. It is actually, it looks like it could be, which I wanted to try it. Because you see up in there, it looks like it's a ball joint going into the head. But I messaged them on Instagram and I said, is the head actually interchangeable? Because I was just going to put a generic head on here, and they said they would not recommend it, so don't go changing the heads. But this jersey here is made out of a soft rubber material. I don't know how well that comes across on camera. You can like squeeze it, and it has a little bit of give to it, which is nice. But as far as getting his arm up, he can only get his arm up about that far. And that's it. But of course, if you do this, he can get it up like that. Figured I'd raise the camera a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. But he still does have great articulation. He can come forward about that much before it starts to get in the way. And then as far as going back, he can get back actually pretty nice. Also, I think this torso is on a dumbbell joint going into the crotch. We'll take a look at that in a second. In the back, you see it has like the white undershirt. You also see it through the sleeves here. I don't know if you can see it from the front. You can see it slightly from the front in there. But he does get really good articulation on the torso going into the crotch. He can lean back that far, which is not bad at all. As far as leaning forward, he can lean forward that far. And then side to side, I mean, that's not bad. The head, though, like I said, it is on a double ball joint. And you see it goes down into the chest. And he has just all kind of movement for that, which is very, very nice. The face mask has a visor on it, so you cannot see the face too well. But it is just a generic player. It's not based off anybody at all. But the detail is nice. You can kind of see up in there. The eyes are painted. They didn't really take any shortcuts there. That is very nice. For the legs, he can kick out straight out 90 degrees, which is insane. As far as kicking forward, if you want to have a kicker, that's very good. Kind of do like one of them right there. Oh yeah, I mean, it's so good. And then back, not too much, because obviously of the sculpt in the back. These pads on the front, I thought they were going to make it where there was no thigh cut in here, but there actually is, and it's molded to the lower part of the thigh. So you can actually spin it around and it doesn't hinder whatsoever. Obviously your lines on your pants are not going to be matched up, but I don't think you're worried about that if you're wanting to articulate that. For the knees going down here, he can kick all the way up. Like the articulation on here is absolutely insane for a figure that kind of came out of nowhere, and I don't think it's getting enough buzz right now, which is a shame. Amazing articulation. Then you see the ankle, he can kick all the way out like that. You can actually pop that off right there if you wanted to put a different lower leg on there, but I'm not going to be doing that. And then as far as foot up, foot like that, that's insane. The articulation is absolutely wild on this. But this is a generic football player at the end of the day with some Alabama branding on it. So I was anxious to see how size comparisons were going to go. So I don't know about you guys, but a generic football player, I would say I'll put him at 6'2". We'll say that, 6'2". So I wanted to compare him to other figure lines that we have gotten, and I wanted to compare him to Hasbro. So up first, we're going to do the starting lineup figures. And off the top of my head, I do not know how tall Steph Curry is. We'll say, I genuinely don't know. We'll say 6'2" to 6'4". But this figure was known for being a little on the short side. And you add the helmet on top of it. I think if you gave Curry maybe like a quarter of an inch, or maybe even an eighth of an inch, it would be a little more accurate. But I do like that. I love that height difference there. And I actually did look this one up because I knew he was significantly taller. LeBron James is 6'9". So if we take his starting lineup figure, you will see that LeBron James is a little on the smaller side. So I think the whole line from starting lineup needed to be taller, personally. But we will compare that to another Hasbro line. And let's go ahead and do it with something that's very popular right now, and that is Deadpool. Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds, who this is based off of, is 6'2" as well. So if we take that and use pretty much just your eyeball it, this figure is supposedly, if it's true 1/12 scale, this figure would come out about 6'2". So I'm very fine with that, because when you think of a football player, you think of him being on the bigger side. I don't know the plan for future figures from these guys. I did talk to them. Their plan is to do more colleges, which is very nice. They started with the SEC, which is great. And being from South Carolina, I would love to see the South Carolina Gamecocks at some point. But I understand Alabama has a deeper fan base. It was probably a really great way to start it. Also, being from South Carolina, even though it's not SEC, I would love to see Clemson. I think that would be nice. But the possibilities are endless for something like this. I see they are being sold at the store at, I think it's the bookstore on campus, and they're sold at the pro shop at the stadium. So that's actually pretty insane. And if this line continues, the price point is $40, which really isn't that bad for a independent toy company, especially with the product they're putting out. I love this soft rubber torso. Like, you might not be able to get the arms all the way up, but you could just trim that right there, like some players actually do, like the sleeves, and get even more range of motion. But I definitely recommend this to anybody wanting to pick it up. It's honestly, like, I have a spreadsheet of like the figures I bought for the year, and this is probably topping the miscellaneous section of that list because it is kind of absolutely mental. Great things to come from this line, I hope. I definitely want to pick up the Malachi Moore and the other number 18 figure and possibly do some customs with these. I know the heads aren't interchangeable, but I might be really willing to risk it for the biscuit and pop other heads on there just to see if I could point you guys in another direction if you wanted to make customs. But that is going to be it for today's video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and last but not least, take it easy.